Hello everybody and welcome to another photography talk. And this time I'm going to talk to you about a picture that I took last summer. I just printed it, developed it a few days ago. Before we begin, as usual, if you want to support the channel, please put a like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you want to go a step further, check out my books. The links is down there in the description, and check out my magazines. New 148. It's a magazine, 3 issues are already out. I'm working on the 4th one, so very nice magazine, I think. Check out also the sponsor, the Dolce Vita workshops. And this time is connected with the content of this video because the photograph that I took it in a place that we will visit with the Dolce Vita workshop. So check it out, great workshops, great locations, and a lot of fun and a lot of learning. This said, let's talk about the topic, and this picture that I developed 2 days ago. I was working with a relative, a nice I don't know how many degree cousin, but she's passionate about photography, so we decided to do spend some little time in the darkroom. I showed her how to develop and so on. So I had a roll of film that I had to develop still from last year, from September of last year, and I decided to develop it. And it was fantastic. Apart from the photograph that came out that I really like, and that's why I want to talk to you about it, it's always nice to spend time with people passionate about photography and to show the process and to share what is my knowledge. It's something that I always like, and I always like when I see people fascinated by the photographic process, especially the analog photographic process. It's really something that gives me satisfaction. But let's talk about the picture, and you can see it here now. And this place is called San Giovanni in Venere. San Giovanni in Venere is a beautiful abbey in the Abruzzo region in south of Pescara. I think it's already in the Chieti province, and it's absolutely a beautiful place. It's an abbey that is built on a promontory, and it's very old. The origin are around the 500th century or something like that. The main abbey that we see now, and everything was developed around 1200, the early 1200, and so on. So it's very ancient place. And by the way, fantastic location, and before the abbey there was a temple dedicated to Venus, and that's why is San Giovanni in Venere, that is Saint John in Venus. And the place is absolutely beautiful. And you can see here other pictures that I took the place, just to give you an idea of the place in itself. But I want to talk about the picture I took. What really for me is the essence of that picture, and that is light versus darkness. As you can see, I decided to have the light coming from the windows, the outside windows, and show it like something that is kind of a property to overlap on everything, and it's the light is invading the place. That's by the way, the crypt of the church. So you enter there and it's pretty dark, and the feeling is something that you go down the steps and you think, okay, I'm entering in a dark place. But there's these windows with pure light coming from the Adriatic Sea outside. By the way, in the afternoon there's the direct light of the sun, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I was thinking, looking at the picture, I was thinking that we don't have this kind of thing anymore in our architectures. And especially if we go around and we visit churches and religious architecture, there's not that feeling, there's not that mystic feeling, there's not this feeling that make you stop for a moment and meditate and pray and think about darkness and light, and the confrontation of darkness and light. In the last years we arrived at the point that I remember here around there was at a certain point there was a church, a new church that was built, and they gave the the project to an architect, and he is absolutely an atheist. He spent a great part of his life trying to demonstrate that God does not exist. And I don't want here to go on this debate, but it's an absurdity to give the project, the design of a church to someone that doesn't believe in what it does. You will never give a mountain cabin to design to someone that hates mountains and so on. Or, a cabin on a beautiful beach in the Caribbean to someone that suffer the heat and hate the sea. So that's the kind of thing. And in a religious building is the same. It's an absurdity to give a religious building to build to someone that is not, it doesn't understand the religious concept and need for this feeling of a mystic feeling when you enter a church. Another thing made me think that all these places, all churches and a lot of places like this, have something in common, and is this fight between the darkness and light. Usually you enter in an ancient church and it's pretty dark. It's a place that is where there's a lot of darkness, but there's also the light that comes from windows, little windows, and you see that the light is something that is at the end dominating the place. It's something that shows you the darkness and make you feel that the light is the goal, the light is the end. In all the human life, light was connected with life and darkness with death. And this is not for some strange reason, it's because we, human beings, need the light to live. Our planet needs the light. All our universe is based on the light. Light is the energy. I don't know if this is for creation history or if because scientifically we are here and so the world must be designed to sustain our life, and perhaps there's some parallel universe where it's different, but the fact is that we need the light. The light is what gives us the food, gives us the ability to survive. When you enter in an old church in a beautiful place like San Giovanni in Venere, you go there and you feel this fight between the light and the darkness. When you enter in an old church in a beautiful place like San Giovanni in Venere, you really feel this fight between light and darkness, and you feel that you must look for the light. You must search the light. If you enter in a modern church, all lighted up, without many contrast and so on, yeah, it's beautiful, but you give the light for granted. In an old church, all the point is that you have to choose the light. You are surrounded by part of darkness and you have to choose the light. You have to choose the right path in your life. You have to do the right moral choice, basically. And it's something that we human beings, exactly as we need the light to survive, to generate our food, to have energy, we need the right moral choice to survive. We are not animal with an instinct. Our best asset is our brain, our rationality, and we need to use that brain, and the only way to use the brain in the right way is a moral choice. So we need to look for the light, we need to look for what is good and what is not. And the moral choice, we sometimes think of moral choices as something that have to do only with spiritual matters, but the moral choice it can be simply we have to make a choice what kind of tomatoes to seed in our land and how to water them and so on to have the food. This is our rational process, and every choice we make is a moral choice that makes us think, is it this good or not? This is good for the tomatoes, for example, or not? Is it good for the food that we grow so we can survive with this food or not? And if we make the wrong choice, the choice that is not moral, that is not doesn't follow our rationality, our moral rationality, we cannot grow tomatoes, and we starve and we die. So that's the point of all of this. And I like the fact that in a church like that you have just very, very small windows compared to all the crypt and all the church, but you see that the light always triumph, always enter, always win. The light is life, and life always win. Life is good, and good always win. And this is the feeling that you get in places like that. You feel empowered. You enter in places like that and you feel that there's something more than our little self. You feel that there's a moral value, this is something greater than us. And that is a fantastic feeling that you can only get in this kind of places. Looking at that, I was also thinking that lately we avoid contrast. We avoid to have darkness and bright light in our images. With digital cameras we have a lot of tonal range, so at the end of the game we try to flatten everything. And this is another aspect that is kind of strange, and why I love film and why a picture like this I love it, because the light is almost making everything disappearing. I like the fact that on the windows there's just barely a little detail to make you see that there's a window, that there's a source of light, but you don't see all the detail. You don't need to see that. I have seen some images making with digital where basically there was all this HDR. So you look at them, and outside of the window you can see, with the point of view where outside of the window you can see kind of the sea, the Adriatic Sea, and all these kind of things, all absolutely exposed, that you can see details inside, you can see the details in every corner, also the darkest one, and you look at it and you think, this is not the feeling, this is not what create that effect of mysticism. What creates it is that you arrive in a dark place and your eyes are soon kind of overwhelmed by the light coming in, and you start to get an habit of that, and also the darkness will have its details, and comes out the details from the darkness, but is not all that clear. It's just a fight between the light and the darkness, and that's what I love about that picture. And by the way, there's another important thing, is that light always wins, because to have total darkness you need to have basically death. You have to turn off the sun, you have to turn off the stars, and that will be darkness, but that will be the death of the universe. So in our universe, light always triumphs. You can be in the darkest night and you will have the stars that will give some light. Also, if it's cloudy, usually you can see a little bit of light somewhere, a little bit of something. To have the darkness win, you need really to kill every source of life. And that's the thing, that is, the darkness is totalitarian. Is, if you think about it in our life, all the if you want to make triumph the evil, and the evil is totalitarian, you cannot let any sparkle of good in the world if you want the evil to win. This fact is something that creates all the need for censorship and to eliminate anybody with a different idea, because the good, the freedom, all this kind of concept are exactly like the light. You just need a little whisper and it will spread around. As the light, you need just a little leak of light and you will see it. If you are a photographer and try to build a darkroom, you will understand that one of the most difficult things to obtain is to keep all the light out. There's always something that can be the key or can be something that you didn't think about. For example, in my darkroom, I have the intake for the air that feed the fan of the darkroom to change the air inside when I develop, and that was obviously is a light-proof system, and but it was made with wood and inserted in a wall made with bricks. In the years, the wood bended a little, and I discovered that just the little cracks of the concrete, of the connecting concrete, were enough to let some lights pass in the darkroom. So if you leave the world in a natural way, there will always be a crack where the light can go inside and win. Go in old houses, in old places, and even in places like some caves, you think that it's totally dark, but it's not. There's always some little light arriving. So light will win, and good will win. And the same is in this crypt. You arrive and you understand that the light will always win. The light will always triumph. And that's a fantastic, fantastic feeling. It's something that gives you the energy to go on. By the way, just the fact that the darkness is defined as the absence of light and has no way to be defined otherwise is something that makes you realize that darkness is negative and light is positive. And this is something that you must see in a lot of places. And this is something that we must also show sometime in photography. When we flatten out everything with HDR images, very high dynamic range and so on, that eliminates this struggle that we have every day between good and evil, darkness and light, and eliminates the fact that light must be a choice. Light must be a rational choice. Technically, the image is an ilford FP4, is the film developed in Infotech HC, and the camera was the beautiful Hasselblad Super Wide. You can check a video here where I talk about the camera that I think is the best camera I ever had. The other aspect, obviously, is that as a choice, I decided to not burn too much the highlights, to not recover them too much, to leave this effect of the light invading everything. This is all about this image. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time with other argument and other things. And remember, if you want to support the channel, put a like, subscribe, share with your friends. Check out the Dolce Vita workshops. We will go there with the workshop and in that exact place. And check out my books, links are down there in the description. There are from a novel to technical books. So support the channel please, and see you next time.